G'day guys, this is James from Reckoner here, and I want to talk to you about my favorite gadget of 2016. And it's not a laptop, and it's not a phone, it's not a tablet, it's not a drone, it's a skateboard. So the board itself is made by a company called Evolve on the Gold Coast. This particular model is the Evolve Carbon GT, and I'm riding the one with the off-road wheels on it, although you can get the kind of regular skate wheels as well. So in this review, I'm going to focus on three major areas. First of all, the design, then I'm going to talk about what it's like to ride, and finally, I'm going to talk about some of the practicalities of owning and riding an electric skateboard in 2016. So first of all, let's talk about the design. It is a large board. It's certainly not small, and it's not light either. I'd say it's around about 8, maybe 9 kilos. Especially with the off-road wheels on, it can actually be pretty weighty. The majority of this board is made of carbon fiber. And it's actually an enclosed battery, which means that no water or kind of bits and pieces are going to get up into the battery enclosure. It's a very clean board. It has this sort of drop W frame, which is really nice, quite actually easy to ride. And the trucks themselves are kind of like these double kingpin trucks, which give you a lot of sort of freedom and flexibility with carving. And I'll talk about the engines as well briefly. They're 1500 watt total, so 750 on each side. There are 2 motors at the back, and these really go fast. They absolutely take off when they're on the highest mode. Hill climbing on this board is absolutely fantastic. I really get up some very steep hills in my commute, and I do it every single day without a problem. It doesn't even really phase this board at all to go up inclines of like a 20% grade or even a 25% grade. It's quite incredible actually, and it is hilarious to watch bikers struggling up a hill and then cruise past them quickly on a skateboard. Now the ride itself does take some getting used to. The remote has 4 different controls, and it goes from eco to slow to fast to GT. Now GT really takes off. It actually took me a couple of days to get used to GT, and when you first step on the board, it is almost kind of scary. You go, how can anyone actually ride this thing in this mode? But you really do get used to it quite quickly, and now I pretty much exclusively ride in GT mode. It is fast, but you get a lot of control. The braking is very sudden and immediate as well, and everything is controlled by the remote. So you have this remote, you hold it in your hand, and it has a trigger on the back side. You pull the trigger toward you, the board accelerates. You pull the trigger away from you, and the board brakes. So the trigger is very sensitive, it's very responsive. I guess the only criticism I would have is that sometimes I've got the remote on, I'm not actually riding the board, and I have sort of touched the trigger accidentally, and it's shot the board off forward or backward, and that's no good. You don't want that. One of the really nice things about this board, and one of the things that I think makes it stand out from other electric skateboards, is the ability to have those off-road wheels. Now, your boosted boards and inboards, and there are a lot of electric skateboards out there now, but it's really only Evolve who have done those off-road wheels in a very sort of neat and kind of integrated way. I really much prefer riding on the all-terrain wheels. Don't worry about the skate wheels, honestly. I have a pair and I never use them. Now, battery capacity and distance on this board is a really important factor if you're thinking about whether a skateboard suits you. This board can go around 20 to 25 Ks on a charge. And for me, I'm commuting to and from work, and that's about 8 Ks each way. So I get to and from work on a single charge. It is a really big capacity. Like other boards will not take you that far. And if you ride it slow or in eco mode, then you're going to go even further than that. Finally, let's talk about the practicalities of riding a skateboard, an electric skateboard in 2016. So I ride in Brisbane, mostly on bike paths. I do occasionally have to get onto the shoulder of a road, and you know, sometimes people are confused about what you are and what you're doing. Bikers are generally fine with it. Some car riders might be a bit confused. If you do get the off-road version, then it's very easy for you to hop onto a footpath or back off again. It is a really great way to get to work. It kind of reminds me of like snowboarding to work. I would only recommend this board in GT mode for experienced skateboarders. If you have no skateboarding experience, you might want to think about, you know, getting a longboard first and then thinking about whether this is right for you. Let's be honest, it's not cheap. These start at $2,000. You can get their bamboo variant, which is not made of carbon fiber, but it's still a great kind of leisure riding board, but still it's over $1,000 for that board as well. If you're not a skateboard rider at all, yeah, it's a hell of a ride, but it does take some getting used to. So why is this board my gadget of 2016? Well, let me just give you a bit of background. It used to take me 45 minutes to get to work and then 45 minutes to get home. So I'd spend an hour and a half commuting, and if buses were late, then it was more than likely closer to 2 hours a day. On this board, I can get to and from work in 25 minutes. I have gotten an hour of my life back every single day when I ride the board. When I think about gadgets, I think, what has made a more positive contribution toward my life? You know, what has made, you know, something possible in my life that I couldn't have before or I didn't have before? And this board has given me that. I could see a lot of people who ride bikes actually picking one of these up and going with it, as long as they're confident on that board. And it is just a really great personal transportation device. And for me, you know, it's my gadget of 2016. Design, speed, distance, something.